looking directly at the party that was happening then. And very often in life, that's how we go about facing each day. Focusing on random things, focusing on the wrong things, and for some of us, the day really ends up on the rocks. So I want to share with you quickly a scripture from Psalm 16 and verses 8 to 9. It says, I've set the Lord always before me, because he's at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore, my heart is glad, and my glory rejoices. My flesh also shall rest in hope. In this life, we need an anchor. We need to have our minds, our eyes focused on the right things. Many of us, the first thing we look at in the morning is our phone. We got bad news. Something happened here. You would have this, you need that. And our minds end up all over the place. And then we go throughout our days stressed, lost, trying to figure out, what do I do next? Because many times we forget to start by focusing on what is important. Touching base with the Lord, finding out what is it that he wants you to accomplish. And as we go about our lives daily, one of the things that race car drivers know for sure is that as they're racing at the very high speeds that they race at, they have to be focused on where they are going. Because if they look at the wall, they'll crash. The slightest shift will throw them off. And we often encounter a number of things that will cause us to lose focus. At times we look at others. We think of the story of David and Goliath. Goliath was there, he was a giant, and everybody was afraid of him. And so for days, the Israelites stood there afraid to attack because of how he looked. Because nobody else was doing it, so they wouldn't do it. What is it that you have been asked to do? What is it that you need to do? What is it that you should be focusing on? But you're hesitating because of how daunting it looks, or because of how others see it. Another thing that causes us to lose our focus is when we become so attached to material things. I'm quite fascinated by the story of Lot's wife. The angel came. They saw the destruction coming. The angel held them by the hand. They saw Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed. And still, remember, the angel held them by the hand, was literally leading them out. And still Lot's wife looked back because her focus was not on escaping the wrath of God. Her focus was on holding on to the things that she had acquired. Let us not focus on what we have gained and forget the more important things, top of which is our relationship with God. Another pointer that tends to give us a problem is that when we have things to do, we are ready to think about what we can and cannot do. Some of you're here as a part of the debating team, and you're starting to think about, can I do this, and all sorts of thoughts are coming in your head because all you're thinking about is what I can do, what are my limitations. But I'm challenging you to go beyond that and look at, if the Lord has granted you that gift, would he then give you whatever else you would need to use that gift effectively? So as we go through this day, I want you to remember that your focus will determine your direction. If you're here to win, keep that focus on winning. So focus on what really matters. And ultimately, let the top of our list, let our main goal be fixing our eyes on Jesus Christ, the author and the perfecter of our faith. Have yourselves a blessed day.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Smith-Davis, for those words of encouragement, because indeed, our debaters are going to need that. Focus. Debaters, where are we? Right over on this side, exactly. And then after the debate, we're focusing on some other things, aka crossword, exams, all of that jazz. Yes. All right. We continue. And now we invite Dr. Janet Singh, the Vice Principal here at Church Teachers College for Academic Affairs, to do the greeting on behalf of the CTC family.
Moderator, Ms. Monique Castle, TCJ family, Jade Group, good morning. Hearts racing, palms sweaty, adrenaline flowing, brains buzzing, mouths twitching, waterboarding. Notwithstanding, the pleasure is mine to extend a warm CTC welcome to all present here today for the grand finale of the inaugural TCJ Debate competition. We have in our midst this morning esteemed members from JADE. A cordial welcome. Also, a hearty welcome to all our adjudicators. The TCJ Massive from Shortwood Teachers College. Let us hear it from Shortwood. Where are you? Woo! Thank you. I think GC Foster is not here yet. Sam Sharp. Let us hear it from Saint GC Foster, okay, you're here. GC Foster Massive, let us hear it from you. St. Joseph Teachers College. Monique Teachers College. CTC. Welcome to Church Teachers College. Wishing for you a comfortable, productive, and safe day. We are all winners. So I say to everyone, and I quote from Rumi, an ancient poet who postulated, and I quote, raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. End of quote. Blessings, everybody. Welcome. Have a safe and great day.
Thank you kindly, Dr. Singh. So you beat me to doing the roll call. And I think I'm going to do the roll call one more time. And we will start with GC Foster College, all right? So gather yourselves, swallow a little bit. The debaters don't have to say anything, you know. You heard raise your voice, raise your words, not your voice. All right, good. So the debaters can stay quiet, calm, and chill right now. But we are going to do the roll call. Yes? So let's raise our cheers. That's what we're going to do. And we are going to start with GC Foster College. Let me hear you. Oh my God. Like somebody press mute over there. Let me unmute GC Foster. So let's go one more time. Raise your chair, GC. Hey. Yes. Unity is strength. I thought you were going to give me your motto. What's your motto? If I ask you to raise your chair with your college motto, let me give you 2 seconds to gather yourselves. Is she a debater? Or she's not? Or she's a here cheerleader? All right, a sound mind and a sound body. Hey, all right, good, good. Let's take it across the room, and I'm looking at the Monique College. All right, let's go. Listen, man, if coursework, if no coursework assignments. Look at the shirt. Oh God.
Soaring to the heights of excellence.
Soaring to the heights of
Excellence.
Yeah, listen, soar with that motto, please. One more time.
Soaring to the heights of excellence.
Yes, and we are reaching the roof. Let's take it a little further, and we are going to Montego Bay with Sunshine Teachers College. Shortwood, my dame. Listen, we're not leaving you out. We're saying you relax because you're single. Yeah? Let's take it to Sunshine Teachers College.
Perfect! Commitment! Excellent!
Listen, let's take two. Let's take two. One more time.
1, 2, 3. Service! Commitment! Excellent!
Service, commitment, excellence. All right, let's bring it down now to Shortwood Teachers College.
Growth and enlightenment.
Growth and enlightenment. I love it. All these mottos are coming together to create one big thing. Sam Sharp, Shortwood, GC, St. Joseph's. Where are my St. Joseph's people? Cannot leave you out at all. You were the early birds. Let me hear your motto.
Pax bona, peace and every good.
Oh, look, and y'all give me the Latin version on an extra. Love it. Good. Have I left anyone out?
Yes.
Have I left anyone out?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so because you know who is left out, let me hear you say that college's motto.
Veritate, extapiente, educare. To nurture through love and wisdom.
And that's the entire first year batch right there. That's the entire first year batch. Where's Case? Case is not here. All right, if anybody knows Case's motto, please, let's have that representation. But my year ones, you are standing strong. All right, so now we're going to do some special mention of persons who are actually here. We just heard Dr. Singh, the acting VP here at CTC. Are there any other principals or vice principals here? I did not receive that protocol list, but we give our principals and our vice principals a round of applause. We are absent. We certainly have our adjudicators in our midst, yes? And it would be remiss of us not to acknowledge them, and so we must do so at this time. So our adjudicators are very official, and they come to us from jail. We have Mr. Jermaine Barrett, the conceptual and the executive director. I hear Mr. Barrett is a very sharp one, so I'm looking forward to hearing him. We also have Mr. Javon Downey, who is a business development specialist. Mr. Downey, may I get the keys with? All right. Good. And we also have with us Mr. Shavar Campbell, the technology project specialist. You have to get him to King's Way, sir. There we go. Okay, and our teams are present. I'm just going to ask us to stand. You don't need to shout, but you just need to stand. Your presence alone must command some amount of. All right? So, we will start with our supporting teams. And we have the Monique College. Case is not here. So we have Monique, Case is not here. Bethlehem Moravian is also not here. Shortwood, Our Lady from Shortwood. Welcome. We have our team from St. Joseph's Teachers College. Welcome. Our debaters from Samshar Teachers College. Here are our debaters. Bueno. Our debaters from GC Foster. Where are our debaters from GC Foster? They're being refreshed. No worries. And our debaters from Church Teachers College. So we raised the roof with our chairs, and right now we are going to raise the roof with something else. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Performing Arts Ensemble from Church Teachers College. With their item, High Mass. Now, please, my disclaimer is, when I hear music, when the music hits you, what happens? Alright, so if you see me do something, just understand. Bear with me, everything. Alright, let's make the Performing Arts Ensemble welcome.
Give praise to rain, give praise, give praise to rain, yeah. Give praise to rain, yeah. Give praise to rain. Oh, from the movie, it's like studying all the way your heart knows it's ready. you know what I mean, you know what I mean, let's scream. Oh, time is rising, yeah. Oh, time is rising. Oh, God in His mercy, He sent us all kinds of revelation, yeah. So everybody come and celebrate. Everybody come and celebrate. See you out in congregation. Everybody come and celebrate. Everybody sing. I love the country. I love the music. I love the Irish. I love the country. I love the music. I love the Irish. I love the country. I love the music. I love the Irish.
Did that not raise the roof a little bit? Yes, please give our dancers another round of applause. I don't know about you, but I was dancing in my mind. Everybody was dancing. Good to know, good to know. Okay, so now we are getting to the actual start of the debate competition, and that's the moment that we've all been waiting for. But first, I must tease you with the prizes. Do we know what are the prizes? No, but let me give you an idea of what are the prizes. So, the next time we have a debate, you may actually be very tempted to join the debate team. And so for our first place, the winners are entitled to the TCJ trophy, a shared cash prize of $150,000 towards tuition, trophies, and certificates. The second place winners will receive a cash prize of $100,000 towards their tuition, trophies, and certificates. The third place winners will receive a shared cash prize of $75,000, and that will go towards their tuition, trophies, and certificates as well. And the fourth to eighth place holders will receive certificates of participation. So all the colleges are actually winners. We would like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Beckford, who is the Vice Principal of GC Foster College. I now invite Mr. Jeremy Barrett. I think I will take the mic to you, Mr. Barrett, the Executive Director of JADE. Oh, you're coming? Okay, great. To share the competition's guidelines. Ladies and gentlemen, once Mr. Barrett has given the guidelines, we will go into our very first match. So I just say at this point, all the best to all the teams.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
I notice you're all so eloquent in reciting your school's motto. I have to recite my school motto as well. My school means Jade. So the motto of Jade is fueling a thinking revolution. Yes, that's a powerful motto, don't you agree? Fueling a thinking revolution. And that's what we're all here to do today in this competition, to fuel a thinking revolution. Mine is the task to provide you with an overview of the competition rules and format. I'm sure you probably all are familiar with them by now, having completed in prior rounds, so I'll be very quick. So recall that a team comprises 3 debaters, and a match comprises of 2 teams. 3 on one team called proposition, 3 on the other team called opposition. The first speaker on either team will speak for 7 minutes. The second speaker will speak for 6 minutes, and the third speaker, we call that speaker the reply speaker, will speak for 5 minutes. Before we get to the third or reply speakers, we will have what is called the cross-questioning section. And just be mindful of the fact that we begin with 5 minutes on the clock allotted to the opposition team to ask questions, each question lasting for a maximum of 20 seconds. Once a question is asked, then a response is expected from the opposing team, and that opposing team has 45 seconds within which to respond. At the end of that 4 or 5 minute questioning section from opposition, we switch to proposition. They get 5 minutes on the clock, and they will ask questions to team opposition, with opposition replying to those questions. Similarly, 20 seconds for a question and 45 seconds for a response. After that period of cross-questioning, then we pause for 1 minute. We suspect that the cross-questioning section will be intense and will consume a lot of your energy. So we'll give you 1 minute, 1 second rather, to kind of refresh yourself, compose yourselves, and at the end of that 1 minute pause, we resume with the reply speeches, beginning with that from the opposition team, and then the debate concludes with the reply presentation from the proposition team. In the case of the first 4 speeches, that's first proposition, first opposition, second proposition, second opposition. In those speeches, we have what are called protected minutes. So we'll have the first minute and the last minutes protected from points of information. I'm sure you all know already, or by now, what a point of information is, so I will not get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions, debaters, coaches? Any questions? All right, so with that, we have come to the conclusion of our review of the debate format, and I hand over to our lovely moderator to take us to, I think, the first batch.
Good morning, everyone. I am now going to invite the first 2 teams that will be competing for the 3rd place to join us. I will invite Team Proposition, the St. Joseph Teachers College. I'm going to invite the opposing team, the St. Teachers College. The motion for this match is, this House believes that parents should face penalties for repeated misbehavior of their children in schools. Teams, may the better team win.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I take it that both teams are ready, and having gone through the rules, I And this time we call the first speaker from T Proposition to open the debate. Here.
Honorable judges, esteemed opposition, and members of the House, good morning. The issue of this indiscipline within our schools has reached alarming proportions. The current system, which places sole responsibility for discipline on teachers while directly penalizing students, has proven ineffective. Today's motion, this House believes that parents should face penalties for repeated misbehavior of their children in schools, addresses this pressing concern. As the government side, we strongly support this motion. In my role as Prime Minister, I will conduct a cost-benefit analysis of holding parents accountable for their children's repeated misbehavior, focusing on practical implications, value, and benefits. I will outline 3 core benefits: increased parental involvement, improved student behavior and school environment, and long-term social benefits. The government will also illustrate how applying penalties to parents leads to increased accountability and discipline. Our Deputy Prime Minister will follow discussing the theoretical principles and educational foundations underpinning our positions, demonstrating why this policy aligns with sound social and educational practices. Our third speaker will reinforce our arguments, address potential rebuttals, and strengthen the case of penalizing parents, highlighting the necessity of this approach. To first clarify the motion, let us define 3 key terms. Parents, primary guardians or caretakers legally responsible for a child's upbringing. Penalties, consequences that may include fines, mandatory attendance at parenting workshops, or required involvement in school disciplinary processes such as community service. Repeated misbehavior, documented, ongoing, disruptive, or harmful actions by a child that interfere with school environment. Our framework today is built on accountability through the implementation of penalties, community safety, and mutual responsibility. We, the government, believe parents are integral partners in shaping their children's behavior and thus must face repercussions for their children's indiscipline. This model of penalty-based accountability is deeply rooted in human psychology and societal structure. After all, for much of our history, we have functioned within penalty-based systems. The criminological theory of deterrence suggests that fear of consequences can discourage undesirable behavior. According to work carried out by criminologist Lawrence Sherman, in 1992, effective penalties can lead to significant reductions in crime rates when individuals perceive a credible threat of punishment not accepted. Thus, we posit that if parents face penalties for their children's action, it will deter students from engaging in misbehavior. As this House believes, discipline does not begin at school, it starts within the home. Now let us examine how penalizing parents for repeated misbehavior would impact our education system. By analyzing the costs and benefits, we can assess whether this approach yields positive outcomes. The opposition may argue that penalizing the parents may endanger strained family relationships, undue financial strains on family, and also disengagement from school. However, the benefits outweigh the cost. 1. Increased parental involvement. When parents face consequences for their child's misbehavior, they are more likely to engage actively with teachers and provide the necessary support. Research from the National Education Association in 2019 indicates that parental involvement reduces disciplinary issues by 20%. Let's take, for example, Chicago's public schools parental engagement program, which resulted in a remarkable 25% decrease in suspensions in their schools. 2, accepted.
Have you ever considered the fact that forcing these parents to be penalized will drive fear, or it will also cause rebellion rather than them complying?
We're not forcing the parents. What the government is suggesting that under certain circumstances or when it's absolutely necessary, parents will be held accountable for their child's ongoing misbehavior. Nothing that's being forced. Continuing. 2, improve student behavior and school environment. Enhance parental involvement fosters a positive environment that benefits students, their peers, and teachers alike. Research conducted by Birmingham City Council in 2020 saw a 30% decrease in exclusion through its parental engagement program. Psychological research also shows that supporting our notion today that a study by Bromley and Ryan in 1989 highlights that parental involvement is crucial for students' motivation and behavior, which therefore leads to better academic and social outcomes. 3, long-term social benefits. Reinforcing accountability prepares children for response to the citizenship, reducing future behavioral problems, as well as social issues, including crime or poor workplace behavior. Studies indicate from the National Institute of Jamaica indicate that a 12% reduction in youth crime rates when families engage in responsible parenting practices. Moreover, psychological theories such as social learning theory suggest that children learn behavior through observation. If parents model accountability, children are likely to adopt similar values. Bandura 1977. See that our analysis, Mr. Speaker, demonstrate that the benefit significantly outweighs the cost. We have a responsibility today to implement this policy. We urge you to consider the evidence and support the motion. In conclusion, our cost-benefit analysis will show that holding parents accountable yields substantial benefits. By penalizing parents for repeated misbehavior, we strengthen family-school partnership, foster positive behavioral change, and ultimately benefit our society. We, the government, firmly believe that the advantage far exceeds any potential drawbacks. The government temporarily rests. I thank you.
We thank the first speaker from the proposition team, representing St. Joseph's Teachers College. We now go to the opposition team to hear from their first speaker. Let's make of course, the opposition team is Sapshire Teachers College. Here.
Moderator, adjudicators, we have just heard from our Prime Minister a very interesting idea. Now let's not be ridiculous now. Let's look at our reality. If we are to impose or introduce this into our law, where we are penalizing parents for their child's repeated misbehaviors in school, if the fines and the charge are being placed on the parents, what accountability is shown to the child to deter him from repeating this behavior? I am confused, and I'm sure you are too. Let's look at it reasonably. We have introduced by the Prime Minister, parents are the primary guardians for their child. Yes, but what happens to children who are orphans, to children who are birth babies, to children who have single-parent households? Which statistics have shown 47% of our households are single parents. Now, if mommy or daddy is unable to pay this fine or implement, what happens to the child? When mommy is arrested or dad is arrested, what happens to the remaining families? I am thoroughly confused. Let's look at this. As opposition leader, when we are re-elected, we will be demonstrating how instead of posing punishment on parents, let's push for more restorative justice as an alternative, as was introduced by the Minister of Education before.
You made mention that the definition of parents, what about parents in foster homes? And when they're in foster homes, they're under caretakers, or the definition did say primary guardians or caretakers legally responsible for their
Thank you very much. A point of information should be limited to 10 seconds.
Thank you so much. But you did say, as you stated, primary guardians. So if the child is an orphan, then are we going to arrest or penalize the caregivers? Is that what you're saying we should do? And what about the families? Or what about the families where grandma, where we have alternative family where there are siblings or grandparents, are we going to arrest grandma because of what the child is doing? How does that then fix the underlying root cause? That is why we are pushing for more restorative justice. And as my second speaker will demonstrate, using Erica's theory to show that children are not mere reflections of parental influences and misbehaviors are caused by numerous factors. So how does the parent singly bear the burden when they are not the only ones who present an influence in their child's life? The math is not mathing. Moderator, under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, each person is entitled to unalienated rights such as right to equality and non-discrimination, seen in Articles 1 and 2. By punishing parents, ageism is operating as parents' right to livelihood choices, also restricted by punishment. Eventually, because of forms of punishment imposed on parents, families lose their ability to financially support their children, spiraling economic vulnerability. Isn't Jamaica supposed to be safe to live, work, raise families? Or are we flippantly punishing parents for rampant juvenile delinquency to sedate the public outcry for security? The government's ostentatious moral crusade to demonize parents is reasoned only on parents' responsibility according to the Children Care and Protection Act, but is erroneous to cast moral judgment on parents in this, if we are to introduce this legal legislative framework. Will the school counselor, guardian, pastor be next? If we are to introduce this, are we going to send and overbear our justice system to send police officers to arrest parents for disruptive and misbehavior? Because, as stated by the Prime Minister, misbehavior can be categorized as disruptive behavior. And let's be frank, what exactly is disruptive behavior? Is disruptive not categorized as well by a child not doing their assignment, not participating, or simply talking out of turn? Does this make sense? Are we going to demonize parents for simple things, simple misbehaviors like this, when we can look at a more collaborative effect, introducing the work of community, as stated and pushed in the form of restorative justice? Let's be frank. The government is seeking to flout the law, the rule of law, by claiming to punish parents for their children's misbehavior. But our justice system warrants actus reus, a guilty act, and mens rea, intention and planning, to hold someone accountable to fines and even incarceration. Now, if John Brown down the line is stealing out of Miss Patty's shop and mommy is at home blissfully unaware, is it then right to hold mom accountable for what she is doing? How are we going to stop and find out why he's committing these acts? If we take the mom out of the picture, if we take his father out of the picture, who is there to correct him? Who is there to work with him to figure out what is going on? We cannot be looking at. Is this the future that we're imposing? How can you penalize a parent for repeated acts or offenses of the child? As stated in Australia's fine for parents of police in 2017, did little to bring safety to the schools when we seek to penalize parents. When Australia introduced these fines for parents, this quick fix did not gain support and it did not fix the core issues. Let us be frank. Let us learn from the developing countries. This opposition sincerely seeks out amendment to the Education Act, Child Care and Protection Act, as well as offenses against the Persons Act that would facilitate references by the school officials to use one of the 20 restorative justice centers in the country to solve cases of conflict. The government's retribution to the parents of juvenile delinquents must end deep-rooted societal problems such as poverty, absenteeism, substance abuse, and poor parenting in families have been linked to contribute or affect juvenile delinquency, which also targets larger social welfare intervention and not punish parents. This is not the reasonable response. We must recognize, as Shakespeare said in Prospero, that good wombs have borne bad sons. How can we help our parents when we are fighting against them? When we are demonizing them for their children, and often the parents are unaware or they're absent in the child's life. Let us look at fixing what is happening and introducing something that has been on the ground and has shown positive results. As stated by the government, from 2023 where they have incorporated and called for even more restorative justice instead of penalizing the parents. I have to ask, do you not believe it works? Or are you going against something you introduced to solve these core issues because we recognize that it does not work when we penalize the parents? I thank you.
We thank the first speaker from Team Samshire Teachers College, and the debate swings back now to the proposition side. Let's make welcome the second speaker coming to us from St. Joseph's Teachers College. Here it is.
Honorable judges, worthy opponents, and fellow debaters, good morning. In Jamaica, we are facing an issue, the misbehavior of students, which threatens our education system. It's time to get to the root of the matter by looking at the families and holding the parents accountable for their actions of their children. As the Deputy President of the proposition, I rise to passionately argue in favor of the motion. The House believes that the parents should face penalties for the repeated misbehavior of their children in schools. Before I begin, allow me to first address some incorrect points made by the opponents. If students commit a crime, they have to be charged. If they commit a crime, they have to be charged. So if a grandmother robs a bank, shouldn't she be arrested? The opposition have argued that it is unfair to penalize parents for the repeated misbehavior of their children in school because children have autonomy and can choose to do wrong in spite of parental intervention. We contend, however, that in the relationship between the child and parents, parents are the primary caregivers and should be held accountable. This is because the power of the parent, not accepted, supersedes the autonomy of the child. Parents are legally responsible for the welfare of their children. They are knowledgeable, more experienced, and are in control of the resources that are necessary for the survival of the child. It is on this premise that parents should be held accountable through penalties for the repeated misconduct of their children in schools. First, the parental responsibility principle is a cornerstone of our argument. Parental responsibility is a legal term used to describe parents' duties and responsibilities for their children. These responsibilities exist until a child reaches adulthood or until specific court orders are made relating to the child. The principle asserts that parents are accountable for their child's actions and well-being. Jamaica's National Parental Policy of 2018 unequivocally emphasizes parental involvement in education, underscoring the critical role parents play in shaping their children's behavior. By holding parents accountable and applying to them penalties for the repeated misbehaviors of their children in schools, we encourage responsible parenting, greater parental participation, and accountability. This principle is not punitive, it is corrective. It recognizes that parents have a profound impact on their children's development and encourages them to take ownership of their child's behavior. Furthermore, philosophically, the social contract theory reinforces our proposition. This theory posits that parents have a responsibility to ensure their child's behavior does not harm others. Jamaica's Education Act of 1965 mandates parental involvement in education, reflecting this social contract. Penalties for children's repeated misbehavior reinforce the social contract, ensuring parents uphold their responsibility on society. It will encourage parents to take a more functional approach to the growth and development of their children as they seek to instill good values and attributes in them that will demonstrate through their interaction in the different social spaces in society to include the school. This approach promotes the shared understanding that parenting is not solely an individual concern, but it has broader societal implications. Not accepted. Additionally, our proposition aligns with Jamaica's National Vision 2030, empowering families to take responsibility for their children's development. By embracing this vision, we prioritize the well-being of our nation's future. In conclusion, the parental responsibility principle and social contract theory provide a robust foundation for our motion. Holding parents accountable promotes responsible parenting, ensures child well-being, and upholds societal expectations. I urge you to support this motion, prioritizing our country's future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Second proposition speaker from St. Joseph's Teachers College. We call upon at this time the second representing Central Teachers College. We're here.
Ladies and gentlemen, honorable adjudicators, members of the government side. The truth is that the government's argument is as airtight as a safe. If we could solve students' misbehavior with simple penalties and in your words fines, I'm sure we would have done it a long time ago. Unfortunately, the reality is not that straightforward. Moderator, the government would have us to believe that every child's decision is stamped with parental or, in their words, supervision endorsement. But if that is the case, why do we even have laws defining individual accountability? You keep on speaking on accountability, right? But when we punish the parents, who is taking accountability action to? We might as well start fining the siblings who supervise on a regular basis sometimes. You have grandparents or even the family dog for any mistakes. After all, it's the family matter, right? Today, let's clear the air of what shapes a child's behavior. We on the opposition argue that children are distinct individuals. Child autonomy is established in psychology and supported by influential theories such as Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. This theory shows that contrary to what our opponents claim, a child's action cannot simply be traced back to parental influence alone. Erickson's theory of psychosocial development, my great government, asserts that each child goes through unique stages of formation and moral reasoning. Adults in particular is marked by the individual and role confusion stage, where a child actively questions, explores, and even rejects established norms, including those instilled by parents. In simple terms, teens are hardwired to push boundaries, to test limits. In fact, in recent months, there was a report case in the Glen of a teenager who had multiple cases of violent behavior, like aggression towards teachers, bullying their peers, and vandalism. Right? During an interview with the mother, who is a single parent, she revealed that, along with her pastor and other relatives, have been counseling the teenager since he has started displaying truant behavior since the passing of his father. However, the government members are advocating for the parents to be penalized for the repeated offense of their children in school. Is this the precedent we would like to see? Mrs. Prime Minister, the government should be more focused on instilling psychosocial programs through restorative justice in schools to help truant students instead of trying to penalize and criminalize our parents. Madam Moderator, furthermore, the Prime Minister needs to be reminded that according to Jamaica Information Service on October 2nd, 2023, her Minister of Justice said that parents, community stakeholders like justice of the peace, teachers, and Others are being trained in restorative justice practices with an interest in seeing peace and harmony in our nation. Madam Moderator, did you hear any mention of penalizing parents or, victimizing our parents? I did not. May I remind you, these measures were put in place by your government, right? It is a case where we came together as a government. We decided to put these students together to hash out their issues, whatever they may be, and the parents are involved and are in attendance. Such program can be found in Flanker, St. James, right? So how is it that the government is now changing its mode? Is that the program that they're creating or they're still reinforcing is not working? Is it that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Justice are no longer on the same page? Ladies and gentlemen, let's learn from the mistakes of other nations. For instance, when Italy institutes fines for parents of truant children, studies later found that no meaningful reduction in truant, there was no meaningful reduction in their truancy rates, right? Instead, the penalties, such as fines, push families, often already disadvantaged, further into financial hardship. This is what you're seeing, finding them, leading to more stress at home. Government members, is this a policy or emulate? Not accepted at this point. Similarly, in Finland, penalizing parents for bullying or truancy led to worsened family relationships, with children acting out even more to cope with stress. The approach of punishing the parents turns out to be a recipe of chaos rather than correction. So the government believes fines are a magic fix. Let's remind them of the phrase, falsa demonstration non nisi. A false assumption harms no one but those who cling to it. Let's remember, honorable members, in any respectable person, we are bounded by principles of equity and justice. We stand here to remind the host of the simple truth. Res icta, no control. The thing speaks for itself. Penalizing parents for actions beyond their control is unjust, ineffective, and frankly, unsupported by both science and law. In closing, we firmly declare that we cannot penalize the innocents for the actions of others. The opposition rests its case.
All right, thank you very much. Second, the opposition speaker. Our debate now moves into an exciting portion, the questioning section. So with 5 minutes on the clock, we invite the opposition team to ask questions, each asking for no more than 20 seconds. And those questions will be posed to team proposition. Team proposition, you will have 45 seconds within which to respond. At the end of the 5 minute section, we then move to the proposition team. With 5 minutes on the clock, you will do the same, asking questions for 20 seconds each to the opposition team. Opposition responding for 45 seconds. All right, thank you very much. So we're now ready. And team opposition, do you have a mic?
Yes.
Yes. And team proposition, you may also need a mic. So I might have to hand over this mic. Okay, both teams have a mic. And so we're going to now begin with the questions from team opposition.
My worthy opponents, how do you address the financial impact of fines on low-income families? Wouldn't penalizing already struggling parents create more hardship and potentially lead to even more misbehavior?
Right. So you're looking at this point now using money into this. However, why don't you look at it as this? Knowing that you will lose money because you're not being accountable, you will work towards not having your children misbehave.
What is the degree of misbehavior? What is the degree of misbehavior we're putting these fines? Because you stated that these misbehaviors would be anything that is repeated. Now, misbehavior, as you stated, is anything that we deem unacceptable. What is the degree? Are we going to put the same fine penalties for the different degrees of misbehavior we see in classrooms?
Alright, so on that note, with misbehaviors, so take for example, we have this system already implemented. So we're not looking at it as a policy motion, it's more of a value motion. So we're not trying to mechanize it. We, the government are agree that it's right. Take for example, Arden High School currently has this system in place where for different misbehaviors, let's say they will get first and verbal warning from the school administrator. Where the parent comes into play now is when they have mandatory parent-teacher conference, parental involvement, for example, in community service or volunteering. They also even have fines in place. So at one point you were saying fines cannot be a thing stressing the poor, but we already have that system in place. What the government is currently saying that we are not trying to mechanize it, we agree that parents should face these penalties.
If a parent is penalized but their child's misbehavior persists, what would your solution be then? Would the penalties escalate or would alternative solutions be considered?
So yes, the penalties would escalate. As mentioned before with the example that's used, there are different levels of it. As we said, the ongoing misbehavior. So it's not something that we would have, it's a one-off situation. So they might be a record in the schools where it's all right then, Tom stole today, Tom stole next week, and we have that record to say. If it's a case where the parents intervene and there's no intervention taking place, then we may have to up the fine, because just like in a Jamaican society, it hurts when once your pocket burns, then there's a possible chance that there is chance that there would be change. So hit them where it hurts more.
Your policy suggests that penalizing parents serves a social good, but how do you reconcile with the rights of liberty, considering that parents could be penalized for actions beyond their control?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, what do you do to reconcile the right of liberty, considering that parents could be penalized for actions beyond their control? We're looking at people who, with the different factors that if a child's behavior is shaped largely by external factors such as peers and school environment, how do we penalize against parents effectively and address the underlying cause of this behavior?
The home is the first institution that we go to first. The parents need to live up to this and ensure that their children's demeanor reflects proper parenting. These penalties will ensure this. So if you as a parent will allow for external influences to influence your child knowing that you will be hurt, and that's penalty.
It's not a point of allowing, it's a fact. Students leave the home majority of the time. What do you do when those factors come into play?
In a home with strong parental influence, you would not have outside influence affecting.
So they don't have friends?
In a home with strong parental influences, you would not have outside influences influencing children more than this parent.
So are you saying that if there's a strong presence in the household from the parents and they instill all these values, when they go out and encounter with their peers and other external factors, as you mentioned, that the parents are not solely responsible, the child will be affected?
It is the parent's responsibility to correct these issues.
So you're saying it is okay for the parents to be penalized for someone else's action?
It is okay for parents to become accountable for their child's behavior.
All right, thank you very much for that simply exchange of questions and answers. It's now time for round two. This time we will hear from opposition team. Ask their questions, and the opposition team, Sunshine Teachers College, will provide answers.
Alright, so don't you think lack of parental accountability contributes to persistent misbehavior, and if so, how would you address this?
We are not saying that parents are not to be held accountable. What we're saying is that it does warrant to be fined. There are other ways to hold parents accountable without dropping to that degree.
Alright, so then, how would you ensure that penalties or alternative approaches do not disproportionately affect students in marginalized communities?
this is why we mentioned taking the route of going through the restorative justice system, which is implemented. You in these districts, as you would, come together and you put a program in there where they hash the differences with parents involved. That is the point of all of this. We are in agreement with that, but not with the drastic measures as finding the parents.
And to add to that, create programs where parents know how to deal with these things. Oftentimes, these parents are not trained to deal with the level of misbehavior that these children portray. What is there to support these parents through this? Is it just finding pain each time the child decides to disobey?
How would you balance parental autonomy then with the need for accountability in addressing these repeated behaviors? How would you then balance parental autonomy with the need for accountability in addressing these repeated behaviors?
The thing is, we can't focus too much on the parents' autonomy. We are looking at the child. This is the person we're helping, the child's autonomy, which is focused on which is surrounded by influential factors. We cannot disregard that.
So you're speaking about the child's autonomy?
Yes, we are.
So when do we limit the child's autonomy, and how much autonomy do we give these children who are under their parents legally? The parents are legally obligated to them, because remember, children under the age of 18. So how much autonomy are we giving these children?
It's not that we're giving these children all the autonomy in the world. What we are saying is that these parents need a medium in which to help these children to channel their misbehaviors. Finding is simply not the solution. So what if the child repeats the action? It's the parent who is being held accountable. After all, it's not the child. So why change?
Alright, so on that note then, so do you believe that parents should be held accountable for their child's action, or is it just the child's responsibility?
It's not just the child's responsibility. We're not saying that parents aren't accountable. What we're saying, find another medium other than finding. Try to rehabilitate first before jumping to penalizing these parents. You mentioned them that they are from marginalized community. How will they afford to pay these fines? What will happen then?
Not all fines has to be monetary, so we can have community service. They're not paying money from their pockets to carry out these penalties. They can have.
Thank you. That should be a question, not a comment, not a response.
All right,
question.
you mentioned community service. Most of these parents are working on a minimum wage. If they take time off work to go and offer free labor or community service, as you put it, you're depleting the resource that is already minimal for that child in that household.
How do you balance individual rights and responsibilities with collective well-being in the context of the school communities? How do you balance individual rights and responsibilities with the collective well-being in the context of the school community?
We take into consideration the persons that are set above them to ensure that the environment which they're in is conducive to their well-being. So we try to educate them on these things.
All right. So the metrics that you provided, how would you evaluate the success of your proposed alternatives, and what metrics would you use to check this?
Metrics, we did mention an example of communities like family order. We did mention the programs being effective in communities such as Blanca and St. James, right? It is being witnessed by our teachers, right? These students going to the programs and they come back being more, in tune with one another.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Very much deserved that round of applause. We're going to pause now for 1 minute. At the end of the 1 minute pause, we will resume with the reply speaker from Team Opposition at Sunshine Teachers College. And then the debate will conclude with a reply speech from the Proposition, St. Joseph's Teachers College. Your 1 minute begins now. time really does fly when you're having fun. Your 1 minute has expired, and it's now time for us to hear the speech from the opposition team. Let's make the speaker welcome. Here you go. That no points of information are allowed during these speeches, and you have 5 minutes within which to present. You will still receive your time signals.
Moderator, esteemed adjudicators, worthy opponents, and my fellow parliamentarians, good morning. Today the opposition has dismantled the government's case, piece by piece, proving why penalizing parents for their children's misbehavior is not only nonsensical, but fundamentally unlawful. As a prominent Jamaican proverb says, if you can't catch Wapo, you catch him short. Honorable Prime Minister, is this a culture you're promoting? Are you rejecting your prestigious title to take on that of a don or a kingpin? Are you looking to invoke fear or that of admiration? My government, please, I'm begging, think on these things. No, the proposition wants us to believe that penalizing parents is like planting seeds of discipline, hoping they'll grow into obedient children. But let's get real. Trying to discipline children by penalizing parents is like trying to cure a headache by treating someone else's head. You don't fix the roots by hacking at the leaves, and that's exactly what this misguided motion is asking us to do. From our first speaker, we learned how imposing penalties on parents infringes on basic human rights. As cited under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, everyone has the right to personal liberty and security, and penalizing parents financially over their children's actions directly violates these rights. Furthermore, the requirement of actus reus and mens rea in criminal law demands that a person only be held responsible for a crime they themselves committed with intent. The government's proposal ignored these core principles of justice. From our second speaker, we saw how the desire to penalize parents fails to acknowledge the autonomy and the unique psychological development of that of children. Supported by Erickson's theory of psychosocial development, the opposition demonstrated that children develop their own identities influenced by more their immediate environment than solely that of the parents. We also showed real-world examples from Italy and Finland where similar policies led to no reduction in misbehavior, but instead added unnecessary stress and hardship for families. No, let's address the heart of the government's argument directly. They attempted to argue that penalizing parents would deter misbehavior and instill accountability, but the opposition has shown this theory to be as flimsy as a house of cards. The government suggested that parents are responsible for their children's behavior and therefore should bear the consequences, but the opposition proved that not only does this argument lack any foundation in psychological science, it also ignores a child's individuality. As we showed, every child is influenced by multiple external factors, not solely their home environment. A child's behavior is not a parent-only affair. It's influenced by peers, teachers, societal expectations, you, me, the government, the opposition, and the unique pressures of adolescents. The government suggested that fines or penalties will encourage parental accountability and improve student behavior. But the opposition proved that financial penalties have failed wherever they have been tried. From the increased truancy in Italy to the negative outcomes in Finland, we demonstrated that these policies are neither effective nor humane. The government's approach, in truth, only burdens families without achieving meaningful behavior reforms in schools. The government suggested that penalizing parents would make them take their responsibilities more seriously, but the opposition proved that parents are not negligent. They're simply human. Expecting parents to control every decision their child makes is akin to asking a gardener to predict every leaf's fall. This punitive approach breeds fear, not improvement. We need a different approach, one that's all about building bridges, not breaking bonds. Instead of a punish the parents mentality, how about partnering with them? Let's provide counseling, mentorship programs,
and behavioral support. After all, a child isn't a plant that grows alone. They are part of a forest, and that forest includes parents, teachers, friends, and communities. Members of the House, let's remember that penalizing parents for their children's action is neither lawful nor logical. So in closing, my friends, let's not penalize the parents and punish the family. Let's instead promote partnership, find the roots of the issue, and support our communities. Today, I urge you to reject this motion and choose solutions that go beyond blame and penalties and stand with justice. I thank you.
Thank you very much for that speech. We now call upon the reply speaker representing the proposition side, St. Joseph's Teachers College, to bring the curtains down on this debate here.
Esteemed judges, valued audience, and respected opposition, good morning. As the third speaker of this proposition, I will reinforce your arguments, hence proving our case significantly more robust. Any penalty required by the government will also be done by the children alongside their parents, except the fine, leading to accountability and future responsibleness by both parties. My position. You stated, you made a mention of adopted parents, single parents, caretakers, grandmothers, if they should be penalized. Yes, they should be penalized. Whomever is responsible will be penalized on the account of accountability. Outside influences. You also made mention of, oh, there are persons outside that are influencing the persons as well. All sorts of stuff. We do not negate the idea of outside influences. However, as I mentioned, the first institution is the home. The parents need to live up to this and ensure that their children's demeanor reflects proper parenting. These penalties will ensure this. You also mentioned that we're demonizing parents. We are not demonizing parents. We're just holding them accountable. We are also not implementing a policy here, and you also mentioned that this is not reality. It is already implemented in schools around the Jamaica, hence it cannot be an implemented policy. And also proves that it is already reality. Schools such as RDMK and Campion College have tiers to misbehaviors that parents have to, whether pay fines, come into counseling sessions, and all of these. All we are trying to do is widely implement this. It is already there. Yes. You also kept on mentioning fining. Fining is not the only way to solve this issue, as we mentioned, community service, counseling services, etc. And as I mentioned, you're looking at this quite thoroughly. Using money means less. Using money means less money. So you're having them pay means less money in their pocket, leading to other issues. No. Using money out of their pocket leads them to think about what them and their children are doing before it happens. They do not want to lose money. Oh yes. Also, we cannot charge children. Children are children. They're under 18, they're not working, they have money. We cannot charge children. You also mentioned finding the root. The root, again, is the home. They come from the home first before anywhere else. So let me re-emphasize. We believe that holding parents accountable for repeated misbehavior by their children is fair and balanced. When parents take responsibility for their children's ongoing misbehavior, it motivates them to actively engage in resolving the issues at home. If we compare countries that uphold parental accountability as opposed to countries that do not, it shows that when parents are held responsible, students' behavior is improved. We see, based on all the previous evidence, that accountable and involved parents are less likely to have undisciplined children, while parents with accountability and is uninvolved tend to have while parents with accountability and are involved have less misbehaving children. If a student regularly disrupts the class with bad behavior, despite the school's disciplinary measures, The issue continues largely due to insufficient parental support. Under our proposed wider implementation of the policy, parents would be mandated to attend parenting sessions, face fines, and/or community service for non-compliance. This approach not only serves as a deterrent, but also provides parents with the skills needed to tackle the child's issues. The accountability principle, the parents are responsible principle, and the social contract theory form a strong basis for our motion. By holding parents accountable, we encourage responsible parenting, support child well-being, and uphold societal expectations. My respected opposition, it is simply concerning how you insist to leave these children in the care of unaccountable parents. With children being the future of our society, once left in the hands of unaccountable parents, this will surely be led to self-destruction and future societal disintegration. In conclusion, we encourage partnership that benefits students, families, and schools. Also, a society with parents knowing the consequences of their and their children's actions is a society of thoughtful and accountable parents. Parents of this nature would be more active and in parental planning, parental participation, and child development values.
All right, thank you very much, Reply Speaker, on team proposition. That, ladies and gentlemen, signals the end of the debate. Please give them another round of applause. At this time, we, the judges, will leave to deliberate, and when we return, we'll give you some insights in terms of this match. Oh, just before we go, kindly cross the floor and in the spirit of the competition, embrace and shake hands. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again, please. I'm asking for your undivided attention as we resume the competition exercise. I'm going to invite the members of the GC Foster College debating team to please take their seats. The GC Foster College of Physical Education and Sports will be proposing today.
Yes, thanks.
Let me also invite the members of the Church Teachers College they will be opposing today. Ladies and gentlemen, the motion for this match is this House believes that the death penalty is the last hope against the spate of violent crimes. And GC Foster College will be proposing and Church will be opposing. Teams, may the better team win.
It's actually true.
Well, teams, this is your last chance to be crowned champions of this competition as well. Welcome and congratulations to this grand finals of the TCJ Debate Competition. My name is Jeremy Bard and I'll be your chair adjudicator for this match. And of course, I expect that you're ready and raring to deliver some mind-bending arguments. Without any further delay, given the fact that you're already familiar with the rules, we will begin. I now call upon the first speaker from the proposition team, GC Foster College, to open the debate.
Honorable members of the House, esteemed adjudicators and respected opponents, today we wholeheartedly support the motion. This House believes that the death penalty is Jamaica's last hope against the spate of violent crimes. To ensure clarity, let us define some key terms. According to Britannica.com, the death penalty refers to the legal execution of an offender sentenced to death. The term last hope, as defined by the Oxford Dictionary, means the final option available. Spate, according to dictionary.com, signifies a large number or surge. According to the FBI.gov, violent crimes are those offenses which involve force or threat of force. Within the context of this debate for violent crimes, we are aware that it covers a wide range of crimes including aggravated assault, murder, and rape. However, for the purpose of this debate, we refer to what is set out by the Jamaican Offences Against the Person Act to determine what parameters or what is should determine of the death penalty. Within this legal framework, it is the murder of an extreme nature. This includes the murder of public officials in the line of duty, premeditated murder, contract murder, murders connected to organized crime, multiple intentional murders, and murders involving extreme cruelty or particularly heinous acts. Therefore, the proposition reinterprets the mood as follows. The execution of offenders sentenced to death is the only remaining measure to address the rampant and severe cases of murder in Jamaica. As the first speaker, I will illustrate the failure of other government strategies to curb these violent crimes, emphasizing the critical need for the death penalty. My second speaker, on the other hand, will further focus on reasons the death penalty is a last effective solution to rampant violent crimes in Jamaica. In June 2023, the nation was shattered by the news of a brutal crime. The savage murder of 8-year-old Daniel Rowe. Her throat had been mercilessly slashed. A motorist discovered the horrific scene and rushed her to the Bustamante Children's Hospital, where she tragically succumbed to her injuries. The perpetrator, a former lover of Daniel's father. You guys hearing me? A former lover of Daniel's father faced charges with a chilling indifference. She exhibited no emotion, no regret, standing cool and detached as if unaware of the gravity of her actions, or worse, as if there were no consequence. Her apathy struck a harsh blow to the grieving hearts of a nation, a mother, a family, deep in the agony of knowing that a child's final moments were marred by such brutality. The Jamaican society is stretched to its limits, deeply scarred by the calculated and brutal crimes that have sapped the nation's morale and dimmed hopes for recovery. For over 4 decades, we have waged the war against the relentless beast of crime, employing various yet we grow weary as the battle drags on. We are approaching a tipping point, with crime threatening to overwhelm the foundational pillars of trust, safety, and unity. This critical solution demands a decisive response. We must confront this existing threat with the ultimate deterrent. We must reinstate the death penalty. Reflecting on Jamaica's past crime fighting efforts since the 70s to the 2000s, numerous specialized squads and operations were launched. The ECHO squad, a year-long of state emergency, marked the beginning. Subsequent years saw the introduction of the Ranger Squad, Eradication Squad, Era 4 Task Force, and emerging suddenly aiming to shock and harm. Operations such as Ardent in the 90s and the Special Anti-Crime Task Force of 1993 followed. And Operation Press in 1995, Operation Dovetail, Organized Crime Unit, and finally Operation Intrepid in 1999. Yet, despite these efforts, crime statistics suggested that their impact was limited. Let's examine the evidence. Between 1970 and 1979, Jamaica's murder rate climbed steadily, peaking at 409 in 1977, even amid a state of emergency in 1976. The situation intensified in 1980 with murders surging to 699, marking a 40% jump from the prior year. Throughout the 1980s, the annual murder average rose to 443, a 62% increase from the 1970s average of 279. In the 1990s, the total rose further, with 44% increase.
Point of information.
Not accepted at the moment. Averaging 635 murders per year. The decade saw the figures escalate from 543 murders in 1990 to 953 by 1998. These losses are so staggering that they equate the massacre all in this room 60 times over.
Point of information.
Accepted.
Did you know that the Privy Council overturned over 200 cases of the death penalty? It has been, you said something about reinstating. It has already been in Jamaica.
Okay, my second speaker will address this shortly. Since 2000, Jamaica has implemented various crime management initiatives, beginning with the community-based policing and crime management led by the famous Reginald Adams. Key operations included the Grand Spend Pilot Project, Operation Kingfish, and Get the Guns campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, have these measures been effective? In 2000, Jamaica reached a new high of 887 murders, which escalated to over 1,000 murders by 2002, reaching 1,045. The numbers kept climbing, peaking at 1,471 murders in 2004, a 51% increase from prior records. With Jamaica's 2023 homicide rate at approximately 60.9 per 100,000 inhabitants, underscoring a persistent crisis. Considering this sobering thought, all of us in this room are walking targets. It is little wonder that during all of this, one security minister declared, we need divine intervention, and we are in the church. We all know who that was. What has been the driving force behind much of the bloodletting? A glaring lack of effective deterrence to crime. We often hear individuals boldly declare, "We make up our mind to go to prison." Yes, members of the House, many seem to relish the idea of committing acts of violence with the mere consequence of serving time.
Indeed, thank you very much for that opening speech. That's the first speaker from GC Foster College, standing in alliance with the proposition stance. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the debate switches now to the opposition team, Church Teachers College. Let's make that speaker welcome. First.
Truly has the authority to take a life. By endorsing the death penalty, do we not acts of killing, mirroring those we seek to punish, the death penalty is in sense murder disguised as justice. Distinguished judges, fellow debaters, and other guests, good afternoon. Today we stand firmly in opposition to the motion. This House believes that the death penalty is Jamaica's last hope against the spate of violent crimes. We believe the death penalty not only fails to provide effective deterrence, but poses significant risk in a justice system plagued by corruption and delays. Such a policy could lead to irreversible miscarriages of justice, damaging the very foundation of fairness and equity that our legal system is supposed to uphold. First of all, allow me to address the first speaker. So all the examples of ineffective measures that the first speaker mentioned are all police-related, not community-based. Therefore, these measures are ineffective because all it does is slap a band-aid on the situation, overlooking the root causes. My second speaker will discuss more about low conviction rates in Jamaica, the transformative power of education, and socio-economic factors that lead to violent crimes. My third speaker will be refuting the government's claims and summarizing our main points. Let's first examine the effectiveness of the death penalty in deterring violent crime. According to a comprehensive 2012 report by the National Research Council, over 30 years of research failed to find conclusive evidence that the death penalty deters crime more effectively than other forms of punishment. A survey from the American Society of Criminology found that 85% of criminologists believe the death penalty does not prevent crime. Even the United States, where 27 states maintain the death penalty, violent crimes persist. In Texas, for example, despite its high execution rates, mass shootings and violent acts like the Youthville school shooting continue to occur. This is clear evidence that the death penalty is not the last hope in curbing violence. Now let's bring this hope closer to home. In Jamaica, our legal system faces numerous challenges, particularly corruption and inefficiency. A 2021 Transparency International report ranked Jamaica 70th out of 180 countries on the Corruption Perception Index, highlighting significant issues in our public institutions. This endemic corruption does not just affect the speed of justice, it affects its quality. How can we trust a system with the power to execute individuals when corruption permeates its processes? Consider the tragic case of Winston King, who was sentenced to death in 2004, only for his sentence to be overturned 7 years later due to concerns about the integrity of evidence and witness testimony. Had justice been swift, Jamaica might have executed an innocent man. If the death penalty were in place, how many more innocents might face the same fate due to a corrupt and insufficient system? Further, let us address the issue of systematic delays. In Jamaica, cases languish in the courts for years, burdening those involved with prolonged emotional and psychological suffering. If we were to impose the death penalty, delays would exacerbate the agony, keeping individuals on death row for years, unable to appeal and trapped in a system that promises neither timely nor fair resolution. This situation is not hypothetical, but rather reality in countries with capital punishment. Even in the US, where resources are vastly superior, the average time spent on death row before execution is 16 years. Imagine how much worse it would be here, where court cases often remain unresolved for even longer periods. The ethical dilemma of the death penalty in a flawed system is undeniable. If we impose the death penalty without addressing underlying corruption and inefficiencies, we risk state-sanctioned murder under the guise of justice. To grant our current legal system the authority to take life is in fact the death sentence for justice itself. Even more troubling, the death penalty sends a confusing and hypocritical message that the way to combat murder is through murder. As we look to address violent crime, we should question whether this violent response genuinely serves justice. Are we not contributing to a cycle of violence by imposing a solution rooted in the same action we condemn?
As scholar Albert Campbell once said, capital punishment is the most premeditated of murders. Should we as a society endorse a policy that replicates the violence we seek to eliminate? Shouldn't we instead invest in comprehensive social solutions that address the causes of crime at their roots? There is a better path forward. Numerous alternatives exist that have been shown to reduce violent crime while preserving human dignity. We should increase investments in community policing, educational programs, and mental health services. All strategies that address the roots of crime rather than merely punishing its results. In Canada, for instance, when the country abolished the death penalty in 1976, there was a 44% decrease in murder rates by 2003. This was achieved not through executions, but through dedicated efforts to strengthen community ties and improve social conditions. If we truly aim to reduce violence, we must implement preventive strategies rather than reactionary measures that risk worsening societal risks. The problems Jamaica faces are complex, and our solutions must be as well. The death penalty is a one-dimensional, outdated approach that ultimately has no place in a modern justice system. In conclusion, I urge this House to reject the death penalty as Jamaica's last hope. The solution to violent crime is not found in state-sanctioned violence, but in justice that is fair, ethical, and effective. Let us recognize the purity of human life, even in those we judge harshly, and seek justice that restores rather than destroys. Thank you.
We thank you for that speech, and we now call upon the second speaker from the proposition team, GC Foster College, to present their case. Hear, hear.
Ladies and gentlemen, audience, honorable judges, and my very worthy opponents, I stand before you today as second speaker for the proposition with unwavering conviction that the death penalty is indeed Jamaica's last hope to stem the relentless surge of violent crimes. We live in a society under siege, where crime syndicates, brazen murders, and merciless leaders of organized crime terrorize communities, shatter families, and sow seeds of perpetual fear. Hang them! Member of Parliament for St. Mary Robert Montague stated, in his response to the sheer gravity of our national security crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, we're facing not only crime, but an outright assault on the public safety by gangs and organized crime groups. The horrific mass shooting incident in Clarendon earlier this year, which has left 8 dead and 9 hospitalized, exemplifies the ruthless tendencies of these criminals and clearly defines their roles as perpetual burdens to our society. In the face of such atrocities, one must ask, is any punishment less than the death penalty sufficient to reflect society's condemnation of these heinous acts? Not accepted. Mr. Speaker, in pushing for the death penalty to be reinstated, for dealing with the most extreme violent crimes, we're almost certain to hear arguments about the countries that have successfully reduced crime without the death penalty, conveniently sidestepping Jamaica's unparalleled epidemic of violence. But are we really expected to compare our struggles against senseless brutality to these nations that enjoy low crime rates due to fundamentally different social and socio-economic circumstances? Mr. Speaker, this is not Norway or Iceland or Switzerland. This is Jamaica, where just last year alone, we had nearly 4 murders per day. By clinging to these irrelevant comparisons, the attempt to dismiss the grim reality that we face as a nation. Some may argue that we need to address root causes instead of course, instead of root causes instead. And of course, prevention is crucial. But does that mean we sit on our hands as the murderer climbs? This logic not accepted. This logic fails to acknowledge the urgency of Jamaica's crime situation, meaning that swift intervention is necessary to stem this flow of violent crime so we can then have the breathing space to implement preventative measures. Mr. Speaker, we simply cannot plan for the long term in the middle of chaos. We must address what is currently in front of us. Opponents may claim the death penalty lacks deterrence, but studies by economists such as Nassim Okan suggest that a correlation between the death penalty and lower homicide rates. Suggests a correlation between the death penalty and lower homicide rates. Okan's research indicates that each execution may save up to 5 lives, showing a potential benefit in preventing future murders. May I also remind you, Mr. Speaker, that our justice system has never consistently applied the measure to test deterrence potential. Proponents of the deterrent theory, including noted criminologists like Jeremy Benman and Cesar Baccaria, assert that punishment acts as a deterrent only when it is certain, swift, and severe. Elements that Jamaica has not yet fully implemented, with the last capital punishment, public execution, taking place in 1988. Places where it's enforced consistently, like Japan, publicly credit capital punishment for helping to maintain order in society. So, I ask opposers to this proposition, if we have never truly tried this measure, how can they speak so confidently about its supposed ineffectiveness? Are we so fearful of offending bigger heads globally, who couldn't care less if Jamaica suddenly sinks beneath water, that we ignore the untapped potential of the death penalty? And of course, judicial errors, a matter that we must address, accepted.
So, what gives governments the philosophical and moral right to hang or to give people death penalty?
As the deterrence theory suggests, deterrence of these crimes must be met with certain, quick, and severe circumstances. My question to you is, my opponent, what gives criminals the philosophical and moral right to carry on in the unrestricted, relentless, and ruthless manner as we do? So I ask, if we truly try this measure, how can we speak to a convent with supposed effectiveness? And of course, the judicial error is a matter that must be addressed, but significant advancements in forensic science and legal processes have enhanced the reliability of convictions. Moreover, judicial reviews in capital cases are rigorous and multifaceted. Many countries with the death penalty require multiple layers of appeal, ensuring that cases are meticulously scrutinized before any execution is carried out, meaning the Privy Council is doing exactly what it was supposed to do. Some opponents even argue that life imprisonment without parole is just as effective, but let's be clear. For many organized crime leaders, a life sentence is merely an inconvenience, as they can and do continue orchestrating crimes from behind bars. As was the case with a certain one-order gang leader, Andre Blackman Bryant, who admitted to giving orders from behind prison bars as reported by nationwide news online. Couple this with the reality for many criminals, prison can actually be preferred, offering protection from rivals and guaranteeing consistent meals. When life imprisonment provides these disadvantages, it quickly becomes clear that it fails as short as an effective deterrent. It can be argued.
Thank you. We now call upon the second speaker from Team Opposition.
The forfeiture of life is too absolute, too irreversible for one human being to inflict it on another, even when backed by a legal process. UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Honorable judges, fellow debaters and guests, good morning. Before I get into my speech, you said only when it is certain, quick, and effective. 3 words that has nothing to do with Jamaica's system. It is neither certain, quick, nor effective. My colleague has argued compellingly against effectiveness and morality of the death penalty in deterring violent crime. Now, I will highlight the socio-economic factors that lead to violent crimes, the transformative power of education in the face of violence, and low conviction rates in Jamaica's justice system. Let's consider the power of education and social programs. Numerous studies have shown that education is one of the most effective tools for reducing crime, especially gang violence. By investing in good quality education and vocational training, we can provide young people with opportunities that divert them from a life of crime. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, the role of socio-economic factors are often neglected by advocates of the death penalty. According to data from the Planning Institute of Jamaica, areas with high poverty rates and limited access to education are also the regions with the highest crime rates. And prime example of such region is like St. James, where poverty rates exceed 20%, and as such, violent crimes are significantly higher. Additionally, my fellow debaters, capital punishment is not a cost-effective solution. Studies show that death penalty cases are significantly more expensive due to lengthy trials, appeals, and the cost of incarceration on death row. Resources spent on pursuing the death penalty could be better allocated towards crime prevention programs, education, and economic development initiatives, which have been proven to reduce the crime in the long term. Jamaica's limited, not accepted at this time, Jamaica's limited resources should be used wisely to benefit its citizens through positive change, not punitive measures like that have shown up long-term benefits. Research from the Inter-American Development Bank supports that improving access to education and providing community support programs have been more effective in reducing crime than these retributive measures like the death penalty.
What of information?
Not accepted at this time. Research shows that investment in social programs, youth engagement, and community policing consistently reduce crime rates. For instance, in Brazil, the FICA Viva program, Mr. Speaker, which combines community outreach with strategic law enforcement, they saw a 50% drop in homicide rates. Mr. Speaker, community-based solution works. It works because they address the roots of the violent crime: poverty, lack of opportunity, and social inclusion. Not accepted. Jamaica could achieve similar results with investment in social infrastructure instead of perpetuating state-sanctioned violence. Instituting the death penalty sends a contradictory message to society. If the state resorts to killing as a form of justice, it normalizes violence as a means of conflict resolution. Jamaica should aim to break the cycle of violence by promoting values of rehabilitation, empathy, and restorative justice. Implementing the death penalty only prolongs a culture of violence and retribution, which does not contribute to the lasting peace and stability. Gangs often recruit youths who feel marginalized and lack prospect for this future. When we invest in educational resources and mentorship programs, we create pathways for success that discourage young involvement. Programs that focus on after-school activities and community engagement can keep youth off the street and away from gangs, fostering a sense of belonging and purpose. Countries prioritizing education over punitive measures have seen a significant decline in gang-related violence, demonstrating that empowerment is more effective deterrent than punishment. For example, in the United States, Mr. Speaker, the inmate education programs offer 5 categories to their program, 3 of which are adult basic literacy, high school equivalency, and post-secondary education. This allows inmates to receive an education to aid in their academic involvement, and the development of skills and giving them new opportunities. Mr. Speaker, let's also take a look at the success that this program has had locally, with juveniles who were able to participate in the program, gaining CSEC subjects, and were able to transform their lives through this program. Let's look at data. A study by the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI 2022, shows that Jamaica has one of the lowest conviction rates in the Caribbean as it pertains to violent crime. So out of the 33 islands in the Caribbean, we have one of the lowest conviction rates, with only about 45% of reported murders resulting in arrest. This means, Mr. Speaker, that more than half of the perpetrators of murder evade capture and prosecution. In Jamaica, where legal investigations proceedings often suffer from inadequate resources and inefficiency, the potential for wrongful convictions remains significant. We have seen cases where people wrongfully accused and later exonerated. The death penalty is irreversible, and one innocent life lost due to wrongful conviction is one too many. Reforming the justice system should take precedence over implementing irreversible punitive measures. To conclude, Mr. Speaker, the death penalty is not Jamaica's last hope against violent crime. The true last hope lies in reforming our highly flawed justice system, investing in social programs, and creating opportunities for at-risk individuals. Instead of a tool of fear, the government should aim to inspire hope, ensure fair and effective justice for all Jamaicans. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Second opposition speaker, representing Church Teachers College. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the exciting cross-questioning section. We call upon the opposition team to take possession of your 5 minutes of team proposition. Your 5 minutes begin now.
Country, how do you plan to support the cause of the death penalty?
My argument to that would be, is the cost of the legal processes involved in the death penalty really what we should be focusing on when imprisoning someone for a prolonged period or even for life costs way more tax-paying dollars?
So you're answering our question with another question.
I see.
What then happens in the case of someone like Khalil Devine, Black Son Allah, who was sentenced to death and then executed in September of this year, despite the key witness of the case admitting that he lied at the trial that found him guilty?
Using international examples cannot justify your argument because the circumstances that Jamaica faces are unique to our context.
But at the same time, you're pretending that it is.
Alright, next question. How would what would side government think that it is therefore just to sentence a man who was deemed mentally ill to die if they kill someone while they are while they are off on sound mind?
Repeat the question, please.
So would the side government think, or would you think that it is therefore just to sentence a person who would have killed someone while they are off unjust mind?
My first speaker stated the clear parameters for which death penalty would be reinstated. Deliberate and premeditated actions would warrant the death penalty, seeing as you would have already calculated the repercussions. A person of unsound mind is incapable of doing that.
So, alright, so moving further, don't you think that there are persons who are criminals who have mental challenges, who premeditate certain things and do still commit these gruesome acts?
You basically asked me the same question twice. We set the parameter. No, my first speaker set the parameters clearly for where the death penalty should be reinstated. If a person is of an unsound mind, you would not judge them as a person who premeditated murder or a person who would have calculated the risks associated with the murder. They are of unsound mind. A psychiatric evaluation would have needed to be carried out before administering the death penalty. You asked me the same question twice.
I know persons who have passed the mental health How can we ensure that the death penalty will be applied fairly and without error in a justice system plagued by corruption, bias, and limited resources?
That's a good.
No justice system is perfect. And no legal system just jumps and executes someone willingly, impulsively. It includes a long, rigorous, meticulously crafted, and stringent process, meaning it goes through months, years, maybe even decades of procedures, guaranteeing a fair and meticulous trial. Advancements in forensics and legal review procedures would ensure more accurate convictions.
So you said that we would ensure that the process is certain, quick, and effective. So given that there are so many unsolved cases, murder cases in Jamaica, due to limited forensic resources, how do you think that the death penalty will work as a deterrent if criminals believe that they are unlikely to be caught in the first place?
All right, well, unfortunately, that question will go unanswered. It's now time for us to hear questions from GC Foster College posed to Church Teachers College. Your 5 minutes begins now.
How do you reconcile the ethical stance of preserving all life when the need to address individuals who have their lives taken in a way that will arguably forfeit their right to remain in society?
So your solution to this crime and violence is with more crime and violence, right? So I'm not finished. They said that if we live by the law, an eye for an eye, everybody will be blind. And if we live for a law that is ear for ear, everybody will be blind. We cannot live in a society where we cannot live in a society where our solution to crime is more crime.
Mr. Second Speaker, you alluded to addressing root causes, which are long-term solutions. But given the urgency of Jamaica's current crime statistics, what immediate measures are we to take to stem the flow of violent crimes?
As you can see, Jamaica has constitutional frameworks, including the zones of special operation that, due to their consistent implementation, has continued to work. We have to exhaust all the possible solutions or all the possible parameters of the Constitution before we seek to proceed to something that is as gruesome and as morally unjust as the death penalty. We must exhaust all possible parameters before we go to something so gruesome.
Gruesome just like the crimes that these people committed?
It is not within it should not be, and this is the argument of the government, of the opposition, sorry. It should not, the government in any way, shape or form should not be the one to say that we are going to take it up in our hands to kill people because they have killed other people. The government should be of a more ethically higher standard to say that we will use our laws and our policies to rectify our crime situation. And it is by virtue of the government's poor management of our national security why we have these issues. So why should they go as far as to use the death penalty because of their poor management in order to kill people because they have killed other people?
In cases where violent crimes, such as repeat murders or gang leaders, continue to operate and influence from behind bars, what guarantees can we offer to protect society from their ongoing influence?
Repeat the question.
In cases where violent criminals, such as repeat these murderers or gang leaders continue to operate and influence from behind prison walls, what guarantees can we offer to protect society from their ongoing influence?
So my answer to that is that those organized crimes, they're like a three-headed dragon or a two-headed dragon. When you cut off one head, two more comes back to take its place. So when you kill, which is what you're suggesting, that head that is in behind bars trying to pull strings outside, when you kill them, what do you think is going to happen? Crime is going to continue. The last who is they locked up whoever and declare crime is still continuing. It doesn't matter if you kill them, more is still going to come back.
What evidence can you point to showing that individuals who commit extremely violent crimes like serial killers or terrorist acts are likely to reform under any circumstance?
If we invest adequately in the programs that are able to bring behavioral reform of criminals, then you will see the transformation in behavior. We cannot oversimplify our response to our national security. We cannot oversimplify our response to crime and violence in our country. It is more deeply rooted, culturally and socially embedded issues that we as a government have to find, we as people on a whole have to find solutions for. So we cannot put this oversimplistic solution to say that it is going to deter or solve crime.
My opponent, you kept
I'm tempted to declare that has been an act of God. Thank you very much for that very, very exciting exchange. Give them both a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we must take a break. I think we deserve a 1 minute pause. We're going to pause for 1 minute to allow ourselves to cool down a bit and get ready for the reply speeches. So you're 1 minute now. I wish I could give you more time, but the rules say it's just 1 minute. Oh no, out of time. All right, well, there you have it. We are now going to move to the reply speeches. So we call upon our final speaker from Church Teachers College, the opposition reply speaker. Here you go.
Honorable judges, esteemed debaters on both sides, and valued audience, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I wanted to wear a black tie this morning, but I could not find one. But it is interesting that I found a yellow tie, because there is hope. Where is hope? Today, as the opposition reply speaker, I stand against the motion. This House believes that the death penalty is Jamaica's last hope against the spate of violent crimes. My colleagues have outlined the shortcomings of the death penalty in addressing crime and the ethical issues it presents, but allow me to reinforce our opposition with a more firm rebuttal and emphasize the philosophical foundation that oppose state-sanctioned killing. First, let us begin to analyze the notion of last hope. This is an emotionally charged phrase. It's loaded, yet it is unsupported by evidence and dangerous in its implications. Last hope suggests that all other avenues of combating crime have been exhausted, leaving the death penalty as our final and possible solution. But has Jamaica truly tried everything else proposition? The answer is no. There are myriads of approaches that still remain unutilized, from community-based crime prevention and expanding social intervention to comprehensive education, reform program, mental health services, and importantly, restorative justice initiatives. The proposition has painted an oversimplistic picture, suggesting that the only way to respond to crime is through retribution. Well, the opposition disagrees with this statement. By introducing the death penalty as last hope, we also risk taking a step back in our pursuit of justice. Capital punishment is fundamentally retributive in nature and in mindset, and so it is fundamentally morally and philosophically flawed. Rather than respond to brutality with brutality, Mr. Speaker, we must respond to violence with intelligence, compassion, and an understanding for the root causes of crime. As my teammates would have said, there is no evidence, empirical evidence, nowhere, no time in this world that proves that death penalty deters violent crime more effectively than other forms of punishment. Ladies and gentlemen, the justice system in Jamaica, also plagued by inefficiency and corruption, simply cannot handle the reintroduction or the re-implementation of the death penalty. And also, at the core of the death penalty, it contravenes basic moral values and human rights. Now, they want to tell us also that they are going to introduce the death penalty because it will be swift, certain, and effective. But yet, the same second speaker said that, look here, we're going to take a long and rigorous process to determine who we are going to put on death penalty. It just does not make any sense. They are going to tell us that we should hang them. Who gives governments and states the moral and philosophical premise to say that they should come in, state-sanctioned killing? It is not right on any philosophical process. And even if we look at it from the perspective of a utilitarian principle, where is the greater good in killing somebody else? Where is the greater? The suffering will not end. The emotional trauma will not end. It will still not end because we have persons who would have been victims of these violent crimes, would have still lost a loved one, would have still lost a relative. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Speaker, we need to do better. We need to think more long term. We need to look at the solutions that work. We need to focus on the community-based program, the education, social initiatives that will tackle the issues like poverty. We need to improve education, strengthen community ties, and create a system that is more rehabilitative and preventative in the nature of crime and violence, rather than focusing on killing people because they kill people. We need to be more philosophical and moral in our approach to violent crime, and the proposition keeps telling us that the only way to do this is through the death penalty. Well, the opposition has presented an argument. We are the morally upright and standard side of this argument, and we think that through this we are duly won the argument. The government, we are really the government. The opposition is standing.
I think we have a debate in our hands. Wow. Thank you very much, opposition and reply speaker, for that fiery and passionate presentation. We now call upon the final debater in this match from GC Foster College, the proposition whip speaker. Here.
The opposition is saying that we should approach criminals with fear. But for the case with Omar, 42-year-old Omar, that weird little 9-year-old Nitika Noel, should we approach him with care? Honorable members of the House, esteemed judges, and respected opponents, today we gather to debate a matter of grave importance. Yes, the use of the death penalty as a last measure to stem the surging tides of violent crimes in Jamaica. Now listen, the arguments presented by the opposition, while rooted in concerns for human rights and international standards, they overlook the immediate and pressing reality of our nation's struggle with unprecedented levels of violence. It is indeed our duty to address these challenges decisively. Now, firstly, the opposition argues that the death penalty does not effectively deter crime, citing studies that questions its effectiveness. However, it is essential to understand the context of these studies and how applicable they are to our unique socio-economic and cultural landscape in Jamaica. Unlike some countries where alternative measures may suffice, Jamaica faces a particular kind of relentless violence that has not been curbed by imprisonment alone. The theoretical underpinnings of deterrence, severity, certainty, and swiftness of punishment must be adapted to our reality, where severity could indeed play a crucial role in deterring those who might otherwise see the state's response as insufficiently punitive. Furthermore, addressing the roots of crime, such as poverty and a lack of education, is undoubtedly important and must be part of our long-term strategy. Yes, that is indeed true. However, these initiatives take time to implement and to yield results. In the meantime, the death penalty can serve as a clear and immediate deterrent to those contemplating grievous acts of violence, providing swift and certain justice that reflects the severity of their crime. In addition, the opposition keeps bringing up matters in other countries, such as America. But we are Jamaica, we are not America. They have a different socio-economic situation, a different cultural landscape. We are Jamaica, not them, not a first world country. The opposition also warns us against the irreversible nature of the death penalty, citing the risk of judicial errors. This is indeed a serious consideration, which is why the application of the death penalty must be accompanied by rigorous legal processes, checks and balances to minimize these risks, enhancing our judicial procedures and forensic capabilities is crucial, and must be part of our approach to reinstating the death penalty. In conclusion, while the opposition concerns might sound noble on paper, they simply don't cut it when faced with the urgent, real-life needs of our people. Let's not kill ourselves. The need for a strong and unshakable deterrent against violent crime in Jamaica has never been more urgent.
The reinstatement of the death penalty, paired with rigorous legal safeguards and a broader commitment to social reform, is the exact tool our justice system needs to instill the true deterrence and deliver justice. Now I get it. The opposition thinks we should avoid tough actions and somehow wish the violence away with soft approaches alone. But let's be real here. Our citizens deserve a response as unyielding and committed as the criminals terrorizing our streets. A justice system that actually delivers consequences equal to these heinous acts isn't merely desired, it is demanded. So no, we are not here to waffle or sit on the fence. We are here to protect, to act, and to restore order. This is the time for decisive action. Our last tough defense, our last stand, our final word against relentless violence. Jamaica needs the death penalty, not just as a deterrent, but as a necessary stand for justice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I declare that this match that we just witnessed is certainly befitting the grand finals of this competition. Very well competitive, both sides. At this time, I invite both teams to cross the floor, shake hands, embrace, and be friends with each other. Don't bother kill each other now, alright? Be kind. We're going to leave to deliberate and we'll be back shortly. I imagine up next is the award ceremony, at which point we'll declare the overall third place champions and the grand final winners of this year's competition. We'll be back shortly.
What else you can see? It might take it one night. So we want to take I guess that's what you get the mindset from school and here, school and here. So
First be like
have your attention, please?
Attention.
Thank you very much. It is customary on occasions like this that the chief adjudicator refrains from delivering an exhaustive review of the match. Because I think at this stage we're more excited to hear the results than the analysis, right? But for the teams who may very want personal feedback, you can contact me sometime afterwards, alright? And I'll be all too happy, my panel and I will be all too happy to give you additional feedback. Before I get into the results though, I want to just extend a high degree of commendation to the Teachers Colleges of Jamaica for conceptualizing and executing in partnership with me this amazing competition. And I heard the moderator asking this morning, what are we going to do next year? Given that last year we had a quiz competition, and this year we have a debate competition. Let it be known, ladies and gentlemen, that debate will continue next year. Yes? Good. And maybe TCJ may have to have a quiz competition and a debate competition. Let's see. Good. We're having debate next year. Ladies and gentlemen, the first match. So, on team proposition, St. Joseph's Teachers College.
Go St. Joseph!
Yes, ma'am, big them up. They went up against the Titans from South Sharp Teachers College. The scores are as follows: 267 points. That's a team that won. To 256 points. The third place champions of this year's Teachers Colleges of Jamaica, Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment, J Limited. By the way, it's the first time I made that mistake. Right? First time. Yes, of this debate competition is, give me a drum roll, make some noise for St. Joseph Teachers College. Congratulations. I feel like some of those cheers were also for Subject Teachers College. And ladies and gentlemen, the best debater in that match hails as well from St. Joseph's Teachers College. That speaker goes by the name of Latanya Cohen. She was the first speaker, first proposition. Just to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, the motion that was contested between both those teams had to do with penalizing parents of children who repeatedly offend and break rules. Right? Congratulations, and I think we are doing presentations now, yes? Alright, well, yeah, we'll leave the big one until after we've had the presentation for the third place playoff.
Good afternoon once again, everyone. We will do just the first round of presentations before Mr. Barry comes back with the exciting news of who won this debating competition. I'm going to invite the Vice Principal of the GC Foster College, Mr. Bedford, just to come and do this first set of presentations. Make him welcome, please. For this first round of presentations, I'm going to ask the captains of the following teams just to come and collect the certificates of participation on behalf of the college and team. We invite the representative from the Bethlehem Moravian College. All right. The representative. Okay, they are not here. They'll receive it, all right? The representative from the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, not here also, all right? The representative from the Monique College, please. Let's give a round of applause. And the representative from the Shortwood Teachers College, please. All right, don't leave it. I'm going to invite the coaches from the Monique College, or one coach just to come and collect on behalf of the team. From the Monique College, the coaches of the Monique College. Please clap her. Very well.
So you can shake hands. It's with the cat to shake.
Please note, everything is in your package. All right, but just for the photo ops, please. I'm going to invite one coach from the Shortwood Teachers College, please come. Just for the photo ops, please. The certificate is in your package. Give a round of applause, please. The coach is doing very well. All right, thank you, Mr. Bedford. I'm going to invite Dr. Singh, the VP of Academic Affairs, right here at the Church Teachers College to make the following presentation. Let us give a round of applause for the fourth place winner this afternoon, the Sasha Teachers College. We also invite the coach of the Sasha Teachers College just to come along with their team. The coaches just come along, we'll get them to photo up. Where's the team? Team Sunshine. After the place of good. Come on, give them a round of applause. You did well.
Good job.
Good job, Sunshine. You can just give her and then she'll just give to everyone. All right. Come in so that we can get a photo. Bless you all. Awesome job. I now invite the third place winners, the St. Joseph Teachers College, to come now with their coaches. Let me make my way down here. It's for the photo op. You understand? Let me put down the mic.
I want to join in the photo.
Yes, of course.
What happened to TCJ?
Give the team a round of applause, please. All right, at this time, I'm going to invite, don't let him sit down here to come holding patins for you. He will now come and give a breakdown of what, oh Lord, the news we've all been waiting for. Who won this debating competition? Mr. Barrett, please.
Wow. Have you enjoyed yourselves today? Yes. I certainly have. I witnessed a grand finals that is almost unprecedented in terms of the quality of the argumentation. At one point during the cross-questioning section, I thought we were going to have some really intense fireworks. It was really good, and then guess what? The fireworks continued in the reply speeches. Oh my gosh. It was intense, wasn't it? Yes. Yes, of course. And we had contesting the grand finals, 2 Titanic teams. Yes? GC Foster College! And listen to the silence now. Church Teachers College! Alright. Very, very strong teams. The motion debated between those 2 teams was a really topical, relevant issue. We've explored in this country many ways of treating with the beast that besets Jamaica, violent crimes. And we've had some politicians from time to time make pronouncements, but our political leaders seem not to be bold enough to make certain decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, our debaters on the other hand, they are bold, they are brave. And they took on the issue of treating with the alarming levels of violent crime using capital punishment, the death penalty. And we had GC Foster College defending it and doing it vigorously. We had Church Teachers College saying, no, there are alternatives. And it is better for us to explore those alternatives. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been judging debates for 15 years now. And this is the first time I've had a situation where the scores are separated by a single point. 1 point. But more surprising, or also adding to the surprise and the shock, is the fact that the result reflects a split decision. Meaning one adjudicator voted for the team that ultimately loses, came second. And it really just goes to show that irrespective of where either team places, it was an incredibly tight contest. Give yourselves a round of applause. And I think it would be good to have 2 champion trophies and a whole lot more money to give both teams an equal share of the prizes. But alas, we can't. There's just one winner. Ladies and gentlemen, the team that wins with a whopping 277 points compared to the second place team's 276 points. Oh, I hear you're anxious. Are you nervous? Is it GC Foster College? Is it Church Teachers College? It is indeed GC The team out of St. Catherine have taken the championship. Ladies and gentlemen, calm yourself because I have another important announcement to make. The Best Debater Award for the Grand Finals. Do you think the best debater comes to us from GC Foster College? Church Teachers College? Yes. Well, guess what? You are right. The best debater comes to us from the team that plays second. It is, in fact, okay. Okay, come on. You advance your team almost sufficient to take you over the edge and put you as a winner of this competition. But unfortunately, that was the case. Congratulations, Mr. Bremer, on a spectacular job. We love the content, we also love the energy. Yes? Very well done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to highlight a commendable debater coming to us from GC Foster College. Ladies and gentlemen, brilliant job. Let's call them the Zaid. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings the curtains down to the competition. We want to thank you from Jade and from TCJ. Thank you so very much for coming with the energy, with the information, and of course, with the skill of debate. You've done well, and I look forward to interacting with you for time to come until next year. Godspeed. Thank you.
All right. Let's not leave just yet. Let's make the presentations first, please. I'm going to invite Mrs. Hicklin Murdoch, lecturer from the Sherwood Teachers College, St. Joseph, to make this presentation. The second place winner is the Church Teachers College. We invite the team members and their coaches to come for their trophies and certificates. A round of applause for the members of the Church Teachers College team. Valiant efforts. Good job. Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Omer, not taking any picture with the team. Dr. C, you're not taking the picture with the team. The J personnel. Yes, ma'am. Awesome job. Let's give them a round of applause again, man. Awesome job.
Mr. Bremer?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ready? Yes.
All right, awesome job. Thank you very much, Church Teachers College. Let's give them another round of applause, please. Awesome. Before we make the final presentation, I'm going to invite Mr. Brahma, okay, from the Church Teachers College to please come, and Mrs. Latanya Cohen-Lamont to come from the St. Joseph Teachers College. These two individuals, they were awarded the prize for Best Speaker, and they will be awarded as such today. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Awesome. The St. Joseph representative. Stay there, Mr. Barrett and Mrs. Omaregi. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Give them a round of applause again, please. And now, the winner of the Teachers Colleges of Jamaica, TCJ, and Jamaica Associations for Debating Empowerment Jail Debate Championship 2024 is no other than the G.C. Foster College of Physical Education and Sports. We invite the team members, along with their coaches, along with the VP, to come and collect the awards. You probably need somebody to hold the trophy. It's heavy. Probably need more than one person to hold it. Come a little closer. Yes, awesome.
Jerry wants to be there with? Yes,
Let's put our hands together for the winning team, please. The GP Foster College of Physical Education and Sports. Thank you. The team now, please. Awesome job, GC Foster. Awesome, awesome. Let me express final congratulations to all the teams, all the colleges, all the sponsors, all the coaches, everyone that was involved in making this debating competition a success. The jail teams, all the adjudicators from jail, all the personnel right across the entire colleges that are a part of TCJ. Give yourselves a big round of applause, man. All right, I now invite Mrs. Omaregi, the chair of the TCJ Debating Committee, to make her final remarks.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, let me come closer. To God, glory, be the glory. To God, be the glory. To God, be the glory. Great things He has done. I'm just coming here to say to God be all the glory. Reflecting now and looking at when we started. It was looking impossible and it was looking possible. I know that Mrs. Bennett has already done the vote of thanks
There is something I admire about Dr. Anderson. When he gives you a task, he will give you the support. Sir, wherever you are, enough love. Thank you. Yes. Jay will say thanks, and I just want to call on my colleagues from all the teachers' colleges. Come, Sister Dalian. Come on. Colleagues, all the coaches, you don't come. Mr. Hardy is the HOD of the Natural Sciences, and I just want to say thanks to the Natural Sciences Department and also the Languages and Literatures. Dr. Wellington, where are you? Mrs. Davis, come. We started, all the lecturers from Natural Sciences, please come. Lecturers from Languages and Literatures, please come. Everybody from Jade, come. We are going to take one big picture now. All right, help Jeremy. Listen. The word of God says, one will drive 1,000, two will drive 10,000. I am just a coordinator. I don't have the expertise for debate. You know, quiz, either your answer right or you're wrong. But the debate, me don't even know when you right and wrong. But just like Moses, God gave me Aaron and Joshua. So where are all the Joshua and the Aaron? Even if you are a woman, just answer that you are Aaron. Miss Fleming, not here? All right. So when you are looking for TCJ, you look for Mrs. Delia and Miss Fleming. All right? So we did it together. And look what the Lord has. So, colleagues, I just want to say thank you. I cannot take credit for this. I was just blind like a bat, but you don't carry me and see where we are, and we are giving God all the thanks. CTC students, thank you. My vice principal, Dr. C, thank you for your encouragement. Even when she called last night, I had the bedroom voice, but I was not in the bedroom. And she said, Morege, I don't know you like this. It's a missing tired. But she encouraged me even when she went home. The text messages were encouraging. She said, just eat something and go lie down. Mrs. Morrison, thank you, she's not here. Groundsmen, thank you. Kitchen people, cooking, thank you. And those of you that are going to eat the food, thank you. Ushers, thank you. Mr. Bido, I told Mr. Bido, I said, you are now part of TCJ. He's fighting it, but it's part of it. The camera people, thank you. Mr. Nampia, thank you. And those I didn't call their names, thank you. Just put your name and say thank you. Those of you in this chapel, say, call your name and say thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. We appreciate. Remember, we did it together. United, we will continue to stand. You see, this is Teachers Colleges of Jamaica. It means that there is nothing that we cannot do when we unite.
Yeah.
Unity is strength. You see, let me confess, before now, I used to think that all they do at GC Foster was just one of my Confession is good for the soul. But since the queen, GC Foster, we respect her, not respect. And now, they have come And then February, yes, we kick off with the quiz. And then January, we will need you, unless you want to volunteer your time for the quiz, we will accept you. Remember, this is volunteerism. All right? And then come September, we kick off again with the debate. I don't know what else Dr. Anderson has, but somehow it's full of ideas. So if I still roll out something, maybe Miss TCJ and Mr. TC. Mr. Mino, make sure you delete this part. I don't want Dr. Anderson to see it. So thank you all, love you all. God bless you as you go. All the debaters, all our visitors, you go to the student lounge for lunch, and our coaches will come to me. And I will show you. No debaters are going to the student lounge. Our coaches, our VP, you come to me. When you come to me, you know you're all right. All right? The supporters are going to the student lounge. Your coaches have your tickets. And if you're a supporter, you don't have a ticket, just come to me. Once you come to CTC, you will never be hungry. You live here fast. So thank you all. First place, second place, third place, eighth place, and no place. You are all winners. Clap for yourself. God bless you. Safe to you home. Thank you, Jamie. Love you. Conference room, coaches, lecturers, conference room.